Exodus, we elei shemot. What's we elei shemot mean?
These names.
And these names. All right, that's what it is in Hebrew. And in Greek, we get the word Exodus, which means out of it, or the way out, the road out. We haya. You ready? We haya. I'm 4 in verse 9.
4 and 9?
Yeah, 4 in verse 9. Mike, do you want a Hebrew?
I'll look at one while I'm in here. There's one over there.
Okay, Dakota, go get him one over there, please. That is my little shadow. I tell you what, I really appreciate her helping me like she did today and everything, putting these tables up all the time. I think it's up in the top one, maybe. I don't know. You probably one down there too. We haya im lo.
Where are you at?
4 in verse 9. 4 in verse 9. Exodus 4 and 9. Ya'amenu gam lishne ha'ototh ha'ileh wilo yish mi un lekolika walakata me mi hayor washafata haya basha wihaya hamayim asher tikah men hayor wihayu ledam bayabashith. That was a long verse with a lot of great big hard words. And he shall become. Do you see that? What is the root of that word down there? What is that? What's the word of that? He shall become. We haya. All right, that is haya, is the root of that. And what does that mean? What's the root of that root mean? Become. Become. All right. What is the Greek equivalent, you Greek stars? Genomai. We got a word Genesis from it. Genomai, to become. All right. And he shall become, if not, they shall believe. They shall not, they shall keep on believing. Look at that, for themselves. Not, they shall keep on believing for themselves also. Gam. Li shene, which means to, the signs, the these, and not, we lo, they shall keep on listening or obeying. They shall not keep on listening, and they shall not keep on obeying to your voice. And you shall have taken. All right, you shall have taken. That's perfect tense there. See, while consecutive, perfect. Ye shall have taken from waters. Look, all waters is plural, isn't it? Why is waters plural? Brother Mike, you know why? How much water does it take to put in a glass? It takes waters, doesn't it? You count waters by drops, pretty much. So if you've got a glass of waters, you've got a glass of raindrops, okay? If you got a bucket of waters, you've got a bucket of raindrops. If you've got a barrel, you've got a barrel of raindrops. So it's waters, all right?
Mayim, is that what it is?
Maya. Ha-mayim, that means the Hashemayim, that means the uplifted waters. Okay? This is me. All right? From waters. That's man on the front of that. That means from waters. From drops of water. Many drops of waters. Hayor, the river. Yor is river, and Hayor means the river. What river is this talking about here? What river are we talking about? The Nile River. Okay? And you shall have poured. I'm giving you the literal translation of this now. And you pour, Actually, it says it should be you shall have poured. Okay? Because it's perfect tense. It's second person masculine singular, cal, well, consecutive perfect. Okay? The dry ground, and they shall become the waters. This all these drops of water that you poured on it, which you take, you keep on taking from the river. See that word in front of the waters, this is that little preposition it comes from right here, this man there, okay? From the river, and they shall have become for blood, le dam, for blood, on dry ground, or in dry ground. Bi, ya, ba, sheath. 4 and 10. Vayomer. Moshe, El, Hadavar, because we don't know how to say that word, so we're just going to refer to that as the word, which is historically accurate. Be, Adonai, Lo, Ish, Divarim, Anoki, Gam, Metimol, Gam, Mish, Shi, Lesham, Gam, Miaz, Daberkah, El, Abadika, Ki, Tabad, Pei, Yukivad, Lashon, Anoki. And he kept on saying Moses unto Jehovah. All right, that's Hadavar there. That's the word. Hologos in Greek. Okay? Be means I beg you. I beg you, Adonai. Adonai is the Most High God, the Lord of Lords. Not a man of words. Not a man of words. I, Anoki, Gam, also from yesterday, Mitto Mol. From yesterday also, from third day also, since you're speaking unto your servant or your slave. Because heavy mouth and heavy tongue, I. All right, heavy mouth and heavy tongue, I. Now I'm going to go here to the book of Jasher again. I'm going to read to you what the historical book, Sofer HaYesher, says about this. 70 and verse 21. Or you actually go all the way back. We have the story of Moses grabbing in 70 and verse 2. It said, and the lad stretched forth his hand upon the king's head and took the crown from the king's head and placed upon his own head. And the king and the princes saw the work which the boy had done, and the king and princes were terrified, and one man to his neighbor expressed astonishment. And the king said unto the princes who were before him at the table, what speak you, and what say you, O princes, in this matter? And what is the judgment against the boy on this, because of this act that he has done? And of course we have Balaam, the son of Beor. Balaam is a rascal in the Bible, isn't he? Okay? And he said, O Lord and King, the dream which you did dream many days since, and that which my servant interpreted for you. Now therefore this child from the Hebrew children is in whom the Spirit of God, and let not my Lord the King imagine that this youngster did this without knowledge. Okay? Well, they go on down here. And it says, for he is a Hebrew boy, and wisdom and understanding are with him, although he is yet a child. And with wisdom he has done this, and chosen unto himself the kingdom of Egypt. For this reason the matter of all the Hebrews deceive the kings and their nobles, and do all the things cunningly, in order to make the kings of the earth and their men tremble. Surely you did know that Abraham their father acted in this same manner, who deceived the army of Nimrod, king of Babel, and Abimelech, king of Gerar, and he possessed himself of the land of the children of Heth, and all the kingdoms of Canaan. And he descended into Egypt and said of Sarah his wife, she is my sister, in order to mislead the king, Egypt, and her king. And his son Isaac also did this same thing when he went to Gerar and dwelt there, and his strength prevailed over the army of Abimelech, the king of the Philistines. He also thought of making the kingdom of the Philistines stumble in saying that Rebekah his wife was his sister. And Jacob also dealt treacherously with his brother and took from his hand his birthright and his blessing. And he went on to Padam Aram, to the house of Laban his mother's brother. Now I'm going to tell you something. Old Balaam here does not like Israel. He doesn't like it. He respects them, but he does not like them. And we find the same thing when what the Bible records about him too. And he went to Laban his mother's brother, and cunningly obtained from his daughter his cattle belonging to him, and fled away and returned to the land of Canaan to his father. And this, well, of course, we know when we studied the book of Genesis, how that Jacob left Laban. What does Laban mean? Whitey. All right.
What did you say?
Whitey. Yeah. Many people think, many theologians think that he had red hair when he was young, and when he got old it turned real glistening silver white. And they called him Whitey. All right. And his sons sold their brother Joseph and went down into Egypt and became a slave, and was placed in prison for a house for 12 years, until the former Pharaoh dreamed dreams and withdrew him from the prison house, and magnified him above all the princes in Egypt, on account of his interpreting his dreams to him, and how God caused the famine throughout the land. He sent for and brought his father and all his brothers and the whole of his father's household, and supported them without price or reward, and bought the Egyptians for slaves. Now they're slaves, aren't they? Now therefore the Lord King, behold, this child has risen up in their stead in Egypt, to do according to their deeds, and to trifle with every king and prince and judge. If it please the king, let us now spill his blood upon the ground, lest he grow up and take away the government from your hand, and the hope of Egypt perish after he shall have reigned. Excuse me for a minute. My book won't stay up there. I gotta have a drink. If I can get it picked up here. I wish they had more of a stop on the bottom of this thing. And Balaam said to the king, let us moreover call for the judges of Egypt, and the wise men thereof, and let us know if this judgment of death is due this boy, as you have said, and then we will slay him. And Pharaoh sent and called for the wise men of Egypt, and they came before the king, and the angel of Jehovah came among them, and he was like one of the wise men of Egypt. And the king said to the wise men, surely you have heard that this Hebrew boy who is in the house has done, and thus has Balaam judged in this matter. Now judge you also, and see what is due to the boy for the act he has committed. And the angel of the Lord, who do you think this is? Jehovah himself. Jesus showed up in Egypt, didn't he? He seemed like one of the wise men of Pharaoh, and answered and said as follows before all the wise men of Egypt, and before the king and the princes. Who else was a very important man in Moses' life later that was a wise man of Pharaoh? Do you remember who that was? Cindy, you remember who that dude was? Jethro. If it please the king, let the king send for men who shall bring before him an onyx stone and a coal of fire, and place them before the child. And if the child shall stretch forth his hand and take the onyx stone, then we shall know that is with wisdom the youth has done all that he has done, and we must slay him. But if he stretch forth his hand upon the coal of fire, this is like a piece of hot charcoal now, then shall we know that he is not with knowledge, and he did this saying, and he shall live. And the thing seemed good in the eyes of the king, and the princes of the king did according to the word of the angel of the Lord. And the king ordered the onyx stone and the coal to be brought and placed before Moses. And they placed the boy before them, and the lad endeavored to stretch out his hand to the onyx stone. But the angel of the Lord took his hand and placed it upon the coal, and the coal became extinguished in his hand, and he lifted it up and put it in his mouth, and burned part of his lips and part of his tongue, and he became heavy in mouth and tongue. And when the king and the princess saw this, they knew that Moses had not acted with wisdom, taking off the crown of the king's head. So the king and the princes refrained from slaying the child, and Moses remained in Pharaoh's house growing up, and the Lord was with him. All right. So that's the story from the book of Jasher about this event right here. How Moses became disabled in his tongue and his lips and his mouth. The reason for his speech problem. Okay? Why he was heavy in tongue and in speech. 4:11 now. 4:11. 4 and verse 11. Now, we just have Moses telling God that, I haven't gotten any better since I talked to you. My mouth's still all messed up. My tongue's still all messed up. But God intended, evidently, to prepare his mouth if he would have relinquished his will for him. Wyomer, Hadavar, Hilal, Mi, Sham, Pei, Liadam, O, Mi, Yasum, Elam, O, Charesh, O. Figeah, O, Iwer, Halo, Anoki, Hadavar. And he kept on saying, Jehovah unto him, who? He has made mouth to the mankind. I can do it. I can fix your mouth, Moses. Or who? He keeps on setting the dumb or the deaf. Or the seeing or the blind. The not, I, Jehovah. Not I, Hadavar, the word. 4 and verse 12 now. Wiata, Lek, Mianoke, Iye, Im, Pika, Wiha Ritika, Asher, Ti Deber. Wiata, and now you walk, and I, Eye, I shall become. See that word become there? That's the word for Jehovah, and that's the word that's in the 2nd chapter of the book of Genesis. We ha'aretz, hathya, bohu vatohu, and the earth she became formless and void. That's the same word right there, the root of it. Page 224 and page 243. With your mouth, and I shall become with your mouth. Now the word mouth there, what does that literally mean? Look at the Hebrew word that it comes from. That's a pay. And a pay, what sign in Hebrew is the pay from? What kind of sign is pay from? You remember, Cindy? Huh? No. Here's hand. Yod. All right, pay. Look at it now. Just make an imagination here. Now what does it look like? Now what does it look like? A mouth. I got to put an eyeball up there. Eyeball. It's a mouth. Pay, and the figure for pay is the mouth with the tongue in it. See that? I shall fix your mouth and your tongue. All right? And I shall have taught you. I shall have taught you what you shall speak. I shall have taught you what you shall speak. 4 and verse 12. I can fix your mouth, and I will have taught you what you are going to say. Wyomer, B, Adonai, Shilah, Na, Biad,
Yeah.
Tishlah.
Tishla.
And he kept on saying, O Adonai, O Lord, send, I beg you, in hand who you will send. You shall keep on sending. You shall keep on sending. Has anybody got this in an Amplified Bible to read up where we are, right up to here from 4:9 onward? Exodus 4:9 onward. Cindy, do you have an Amplified Bible? Would you want to come up and read that for me? Exodus 4. Give me a break for a minute.
And if they will also not believe these two signs and heed your voice, you shall take some water of the river Nile and pour it upon the dry land. And the water which you take out of the river Nile shall become blood on the dry land. Then Moses said to the Lord, O Lord, I am not eloquent or a man of words, neither before nor since you have spoken to your servant. For I am slow of speech and have a heavy and awkward tongue. And the Lord said to him, Who has made your man's mouth? Or who makes the dumb or the deaf or seeing or the blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth and will teach you what you shall say.
Thank you, Cindy. 4 and verse 13. O Adonai, please send, I beg, in your hand whoever you wish. 4 and 14 now. Vayichar Off Hadabar Be Moshe Vayomer Halo Aharon Achika Ha Lewi Yadati Ki Daber Ha Daber or Yed Daber, that is. Hu Wigam Hine Hu Yatsi Lekratika Wa Araka Wishama Bilebo. And he glowed, he flamed out. Anger. Anger means your nose glows. Okay, your nose glows. Jehovah against Moses. And he kept on saying, the not, Aaron your brother, Aaron. What does Aaron mean? Aharon, Aaron. What does that mean? Anybody remember what Aharon means? What does his name mean? You remember that, Brother Mike? Aaron? What does Aaron mean? Okay, the English name for Aaron is what? Frank. The modern English name for Aaron is Frank. Now, what does Frank mean? Where does Frank come from? What Greek word does Frank come from? It comes from phos or photi. Okay? And phos or photi means what? Photo, photograph. It means light. Light. All right? Aaron means light. Aaron, your brother, the Levite. What does Levite or Levi mean? Remember what Levi means? What does Levi mean? When Levi's mother had him, she said what? Now my husband will be joined to me. His heart will be joined. His heart will be knitted with my heart. That girl loved Jacob, didn't she? Huh? She loved Jacob. Leah loved Jacob. And I do know, and I have known that speaking, he can speak. He's real good. He keeps on speaking intensely. He's a powerful speaker. Look at that word, imperfect tense and PL stem. PL stands for what? An extremely powerful expression, a powerful verb. He can speak loudly. He. And also, behold, he going out. He's going out to encounter you. He's going out to encounter you. And he shall send you, and he rejoiced in his heart. All right, and he rejoiced in his heart. 4 and verse 15 now. 4 and verse 15. This is more colorful in Hebrew than it is in the English. Yeah. You can read the Amplified Bible to begin with and everything, but the verb tenses, the Amplified Bible does a pretty good job of explaining things, but from the Hebrew, there just is a missing link. From Hebrew, it's not all caught. It's not all gotten and written down. And you shall have spoken. You shall have spoken. This is what we call future history. God knows things how they're going to happen from his perspective. God is here in eternity. He's inhabiting eternity. We're down here in a marked out piece of eternity. Now just imagine this line going everywhere and in a great big circle. And here in a marked off piece of eternity, we live in space and time. And God lives up here, and he can look. I probably should have drawn it like this. One eternal now. Okay. Here we are living in this little tiny speck of a piece of time, eternity marked off in what we call time. And God can look down and he knows exactly what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day or in a million years. Don't really matter to him. He looks and sees it all at all time. He said, and you shall have put. See there? That's future history. That's what we call a historic future. And you shall have put, cal, wow, consecutive, perfect, the words, ha-devarim. Remember what I told you about the word ha-devar? It means the word. In John 1 and 1, it says, in beginning was, or kept on being, the word. It's talking about Jehovah. Now it's talking about the word devar here. Devar is the root, page 180 and page 210 in Kohler and Baumgartner. In his mouth. You will put words in his mouth. You will have put words in his mouth. And I shall keep on becoming. I shall keep on becoming, coming with you and your mouth. And with his mouth. And I shall have taught. I shall have taught. Future, historic future again. First person construct singular, hifel, wow, consecutive, perfect. I shall have taught you what you shall keep on saying, what you shall keep on doing, how you shall keep on doing. Yes, brother.
Does that mean like they have a conference before they go in to see Pharaoh and he says,
That's right. He's gonna rehearse to Aaron what he's supposed to say.
Okay.
Moses is going to rehearse to Aaron and teach him, and he's going to do it a lot. He said, now tell me again what you're going to say, Aaron, when you get in there. And Aaron, with his great voice and everything, he'll just beller it out like a ox and say what he's going to say, and maybe he might miss one thing. He's, nope, you get it right now before we go in there. And so they have rehearsed this before. And you're going to keep on doing this until he gets it right, and then he's going to go in there and he's going to tell him exactly what I have told you to tell him. All right? And that's the action. See the action of all this? It's there. We deber. Hu. Lika. El Ha'am, We Haya, Hu, Yige, Lika, Lefe, Wa'ata, Teye, Lo, Le Elohim. And he shall have spoken for you. He shall have spoken for you unto the people. Unto the Ha'am. Look at that word people there, Am. The last part of that word Ha'am, it means the people. People is on page 766 in Brown, Driver, and Briggs. And he shall have become. Look at that. Shall have become, he. And he shall keep on becoming for you for a mouth. Lefe, for a mouth. and you shall keep on becoming for him for God. In other words, I'm going to make you look like God, Moses. Down in Egypt, they think that their kings, their pharaohs are gods, don't they? He said, I'm going to condescend, and I'm going to send you down there, Moses, and they're going to know who you are, and I'm going to have you speak to him, and you're going to just stand back with all of your power and all your glory, and you're going to tell him what to do, and you're just going to stand back there just like I am, just like God. You're going to be there in my place. You're going to be there for God, in the place of God. All right, got any questions about that, Brother Mike? You see the picture? See the picture in your mind. They're going to go before Pharaoh. Moses is standing over the side, and Aaron is doing all of the talking. Okay? And Moses is just making sure he's doing it right. 4:17. We'eth. Hamate. Hazeh. Tikah. Bayadika. Asher. Ta'aseh. Bo. Et. Ha'atoth. All right. And the staff, this, you shall keep on taking. You shall keep on taking in your hand, which you shall keep on doing by it, or in it, the signs. All right. Now, of course, whose rod was this according to the book of Jasher? Whose rod was this?
This morning you said Noah, but I thought before you said it was
Adam. Adam handed it down. It came down to Noah. It came down to Shem. It went all through all the way down to Joseph in Egypt. And then Jether or Jethro or Ruel or Ru, whatever you want to call him, he's got all those names. That's his father-in-law. Had it, stuck it in the ground in his garden. Moses come along and take it out. And it was all the time called the rod of God, because God had given it to Adam. And what did the rod stand for? What did that rod stand for? Authority. It stood for authority. Okay? When God gave Adam that rod, he had authority over the heaven and earth, to tell you the truth. And he blew it. Threw it away. All right, now let's go into 4:18. 4:18. Vayelek Moshe Vayashav El Yeter Chitena Vayomer Lo Elika Na Viashuva El Ache Asher Bimitzraim We Array Ha Odam Hayim Wayomer Yithro Le Moshe Lek Li Shalom. All right. And he walked, and he kept on walking, Moses. And he kept on returning unto, it's called Jeter here, Jeter. Jethro is called Jeter here, okay? Jeter or Jether. His father-in-law, literally it doesn't say his father-in-law, it says his wife's father. The father of his wife is what it literally says. And he kept on saying to him, let me walk, please. Let me walk, please. And I shall return unto my brothers. Who in Mitzrayim, what does Mitzrayim mean? Mitzrayim or Egypt, what does that mean? Land of red mud and canal banks. And I shall see whether still alive, one's alive, we're still the alive ones. And he kept on saying, Jethro to Moses, go in agreement. Go in agreement. What is that word of agreement there? That's the word shalom. You don't have peace, you don't have shalom unless you have an agreement, do you? So they had an agreement, and he said, go in peace. Wayomer, ha the bar, el Moshe, be Midian, lek, shuv, Mitzrayim, ki metu, kal, ha anashim, ham vakshim, et nafshika. And he kept on saying, Jehovah unto Moses, in Midian, you walk, and you return to Egypt, because they are dead ones. They have died, all the men, the ones seeking your soul. Now, it says that Pharaoh put out a contract on Moses' life, didn't he? Did he or not? Is that what the Bible says? In the book of Jasher, do you remember, or have I told you what happened? He had a head hitman. Old Pharaoh had a head hitman, and he sent this person that looked like Moses. He sent this person that looked like Moses, and he killed him. And so they thought he was dead. They thought he was dead. 20 in verse A. 4:20 in verse A. I'll read you the whole story out of that. Wayikeh Moshe et Ishto Wiet Bana Yar Kiben Al Ha Chamar Wayashav Artsal Mitzrayim Wayikak Moshe et Mate Ha Elohim Bioda. And he took Moses, his wife, his Ishto. What does woman, that word woman comes out of that on page 61, okay? What does word woman mean? Woman. Dakota, you remember what woman means? Woman. Can't get her mouth pried open. Brother Roger, you remember what woman means?
Like in his footsteps?
No, not.
Out of
What,
man?
Brother Mike?
He's what he said, out of man.
Out of man. All right. Out of man. Out of man. Woman means out of man. Ish is man. Isha is woman. And this here is Ishto, which means his wife. His wife. His woman. Okay? That's his woman, or the woman that belongs to him. And Weath, that's the sign of direct object with a conjunction in front of it. His sons. And he made them ride upon a donkey. Look at that word, a male donkey. This is a jack. And he kept on returning to the land of Egypt. Yes, Brother Mike. Oh. And he kept on returning to the land of Egypt. And he kept on taking Moses the staff, et mete, staff, of the Elohim in his hand. The staff of Elohim in his hand. The staff of Elohim, the belonging to God. The staff belonging to God. Now what does that say right here in this verse? And this is from Scriptures. Who did this staff belong to? It belonged to God. Evidently, historically, the book of Jasher is correct, because this is God's staff that he handed down to Adam, that he handed all the way down, that Moses ended up with. I'm going to really be excited to see that staff one of these days. Where is it today, by the way? Where's that staff? Brother Mike?
In the ark, is it?
That's right, in the Ark of the Covenant. And the Ark of the Covenant, according to 2 Maccabees, the 2nd chapter, is where?
Wherever Moses is buried.
Wherever Moses is buried, that's exactly where the Ark of the Covenant is. The same mountain where God buried Moses, and Moses looked at the promised land, which is up there on what Pisgah, I believe it is, as they look into the land of Jordan. That's where it is. It's over there, and it's in Jordan today. And it said that Jeremiah the prophet, being warned of God, took the ark of the covenant and the tabernacle and all the furniture of it and took it and hid it in the cave there, and they would not find this until the last days. Now, Israel always had a facsimile. You know that every synagogue has an ark in it? Every synagogue's got an ark in it, but it's not the ark. The temple of Herod had an ark in it, but it definitely wasn't the ark of God. Okay? The staff that belonged to God. What a weapon to have, wouldn't it? Remember the Indiana Jones and the Lost Ark? The story about it? Where Indiana Jones went and found the Ark of the Covenant. Hitler wanted it, because the power in that Ark of the Covenant. I want to tell you something. The power in this rod. The power is in this rod. That's authority. And where is all of that authority today? Where is that authority? Where is it operating today? In the church of the Lord Jesus Christ. In the churches of the Lord Jesus Christ. Wayomer, Hadavar, El Mashe, Bilatika, Lashun, Lashuv, that is. Mitzrayimah, Riah, Kal, Hamophitim, Asher, Samte, Viyadika. Wa'asetam, Lifnei, Pharaoh, Wa'ani, Achazik, Et Lebo, Willow, Yeshala, Et Ha'am. And he kept on saying Jehovah unto Moshe. What does Moses mean? Moses. Brother Mike, you remember what Moses means? Oh, what Moses means? Moshe. What does it mean? Well, it comes from men. Man means what? From or out. All right? It means to draw out. That's what his name was. Of course, Moses had many names, remember. We looked at all the names of Moses one time.
Rescue.
That means to rescue. That's right. To rescue or to draw out. Okay? Because she rescued him and drew him out of the Nile, so she named him that, and prophetically is what he was going to do with Israel. And he said, Jehovah unto Moses, Moshe, in your going, in your walking, to return to Egypt, see all the signs, wonders, miracles. Signs, wonders, and miracles, which I have set in your hand. How did he put it in his hand? How did God put all of that power? Cindy? The staff. This powerful authority in that staff. The authority to rule the heavens and the earth. You know who the next man to hold on to that staff is going to be? Who's the man that's going to hold on to that staff? Jesus. Jesus is going to hold it. I mean, them Jews are looking for that Ark of the Covenant and all that kind of stuff. They want all the stuff in it and all that, but I'm going to tell you something. Jesus is going to have that. When they see him the next time, they're going to say, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Where'd you get those wounds in your hands and your feet and your side? He'll say that in the house of my friends, and they will mourn as one mourns for his only begotten son. Wa'asatam. And perform them, do them, keep on performing them before the nose of Pharaoh, right before his nose. Before the nose of Pharaoh. Remember what Pharaoh means? Pharaoh. What is it, Cindy? The man in the big house. He's the guy in the big house. Before Pharaoh and I, we ani, and I shall keep on hardening his heart. Lebo. And not he shall keep on sending away the people. Look at that word. And not, he shall keep on sending away the people. That we lo, that means and not. That little not there, that lo, is an adverb of negation. Not he shall keep on sending away. Third person masculine, PL imperfect. PL stem. He's going to fight. He's not going to send the people away. He won't do it. Whose people? God's people. We are Marta. El, Paro, Ko, Amar, Hadabar, Bene, Vikari, Yisrael. And you shall have spoken unto Pharaoh in this manner, thusly, in this manner. And he has said, Jehovah, my son, my firstborn, Israel. He has said, Jehovah, my son, my firstborn, Israel. God calls Israel his firstborn. Why Omar, Elika, Shalah, Et Bene, We Ya'av Dini, Wat Ti Ma'in, Li Shal Li Ha, Hane, Anoki, Harek, Et Binka, Bi Korika. Brother Roger, you're getting really good at pronouncing this Hebrew. How many Hebrew classes are you studying at the same time?
3.
How many?
3.
3 Hebrew classes. Tell me where you're studying these.
I do a Saturday morning with a group of people that are just interested in doing it. And this one, and then sometimes I go with another group who likes to do it. So 2, let's say 2.5.
2.5 classes a week. Well, you are getting very good at it, I can tell you that much. And how long, far along are you in writing the Hebrew in the book of Exodus?
Oh, you know, that is going so slow. I'll tell you, it's wearing me out.
Well, it's rough, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can, if you've ever written Hebrew and you know what you're holding in your hand right now? That's a major bunch of work.
You know what? Oh, this is just an aside. I'll write it out, and then all of a sudden I'll put my hand down, smear it. And
Yeah. That's all in the process. And you shall have spoken unto Pharaoh thusly. And he said, my son, my firstborn, Israel. 4:23. Why Omar, Elika, Shalah, Et Bene, We Ya'av Dina, Wat Ti Ma'en, Li Sha Li Ha. That's got that ka in there, doesn't it? Hine, Anoki, Harek, Et Binka, Bi Koreka. And I have said unto you, send away my son. Send away with force my son. And allow him to serve me. Allow him to become my slave. And you shall refuse. You shall keep on refusing to send him. Behold, I'm about to kill him, your son, your firstborn. Your firstborn. I'm about to kill him, your son, your firstborn.
I've always been real curious about these couple of verses, so I'd like you to explain it a little bit.
Okay, Cindy, you want to come up here and read that in an Amplified Bible from where you read the last time up here? I will get another drink of water and see if I can recover, and we'll look at this a little bit more.
And he said, O my Lord, I pray you send by the hand of some other whom you shall send. Then the anger of the Lord blazed against Moses. He said, Is there not Aaron your brother the Levite? I know he can speak well. Also he is coming out to meet you, and when he sees you, he will be overjoyed. You must speak to him and put the words in his mouth, and I will be with your mouth and with his mouth, and will teach you what you shall do. He shall speak for you to the people, acting as a mouthpiece for you, and you shall be as God to him. And he shall take this rod in your hand, with which you shall work the signs that prove I sent you. And Moses went away, and returning to Jethro his father-in-law said to him, Let me go back, I pray you, to my relatives in Egypt, to see whether they are still alive. And Jethro said to Moses, Go in peace. The Lord said to Moses in Midian, Go back to Egypt, for all the men who were seeking your life for killing the Egyptian are dead. And Moses took his wife and his sons, and set them on donkeys, and he returned to the land of Egypt, and Moses took the rod of God in his hand. And the Lord said to Moses, When you return into Egypt, see that you do before Pharaoh all those miracles and wonders, which I have put in your hand. But I will make him stubborn and harden his heart, so that he will not let the people go. And you shall say to Pharaoh, Thus says the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And I say to you, Let my son go, that he may serve me. And if you refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay your son, your firstborn.
All right. Now, what question do you have about this, Brother Roger?
It's 23 and 24 have always, and 25 have always been confusing to me.
24 and 25. All right. Now, we haven't got there yet, have we?
No.
Okay, let's go there, and then we'll explain this a little bit. Wahi, Ba Direk, Ba Malon, Wayif Geshehu, Hadavar, Why Va Gesh, Ha Mito. And it became, during the journey, in the way, in the road, or on the trail, in a lodging place. This is an inn. This is a place where they walk, where they would stay, a guarded, it's like a rest area, okay? This is a guarded rest area, all right? And he met him, Jehovah, and he kept on seeking to slay him, all right, to kill Moses. Jasher 79, 8-12. Why? What happened here? Jasher 79, 8-12. Does this help you? This a little bit? Jasher 79, 8-12. If I can find it. And Moses rose up to go to Egypt, and he took his wife and his sons with him. And he was at an inn in the road, and the angel of God came down and sought an occasion against him. And he wished to kill him on account of his firstborn son, because he had not circumcised him. Now, Moses, there is an entreaty and an edict from God that every son on the 8th day is going to be circumcised. Yes or no? God told Abraham that, and here we are way down the line. Now, why on earth didn't Moses circumcise his son, firstborn son, on the 8th day? And he wished to kill on account of his firstborn son, because he had not circumcised him and had transgressed the covenant which the Lord had made with Abraham. For Moses had hearkened to the words of his father-in-law, which he had spoken to him not to circumcise his firstborn son. Therefore he circumcised him not. Didn't say he didn't circumcise the second one. He didn't circumcise the firstborn. And Zipporah saw the angel of the Lord. What does the word Zipporah mean? Remember what that means? What does Zipporah mean? Huh? Remember what that one means? Is that little bird? Or sweet-smelling one, little bird? And Zipporah saw the angel of the Lord seeking an occasion against Moses, and she knew that this thing was owing to not having circumcised her son Gershom. Gershom had not been circumcised, and Zipporah hastened and took of the sharp rock stones that were there, and she circumcised her son and delivered her husband and her son from the hand of the angel of the Lord. All right.
So
That's,
was it because the father-in-law was a priest and
he was a priest, and for
pagan?
some reason he did not want him to circumcise that firstborn son. Okay? Evidently it must have been a custom of them back at that time among those heathens or whatever. Anyway, now we know that Jethro gave Moses a lot of good advice that he followed, but this wasn't very good advice, was it? This here almost got Moses killed. Okay? All right. Now, the angel of the Lord, Jehovah, it says here, kept on seeking to slay him. 425. Watika, Sipara, Sor, Watikarath, Et, Aralath, Binah, Watika, Li Raglo, Watamar, Ki, Hatan, Damin, Hata, Li. And she took Zipporah. 862 is where it is in this book. Let me read to you a little bit. By the way, here is another book. This is a book that's well worth the reading. The Culture of the Jews, and it quotes the Talmud. It quotes the book of Jasher, everything. It just quotes the whole history of the Jews, everything. When they began to go back to the Hebrew language and everything, and it's called The Culture of the Jews, A New History by David Bael. All right, and it's about close to 1,200 pages. 1,196 pages. But it's full of gobs of information. It all goes back to this little book right here. All of Jewish history goes back to this book. All the Talmud is written with this book in mind. I want you to understand that. That's why I keep quoting the book of Jasher. Because if you're dealing with modern Jews, if you're dealing with the what's that spiritual book that they've got? That the what? The Kabbalah. Yeah, the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah spiritualizes all that. If you deal with any of that, it all goes back to Jasher. It all goes back to the history of that book. That book right there will turn you on to a lot of history. All right. And Zipporah, and she took and kept on taking to Zipporah a flint knife, a sharp flint knife. It literally means narrow blade. A narrow blade or a narrow piece of blade. And she cut off foreskins of her son and placed at his feet. And she said, because a daughter of a husband of bloods, you to me. A husband of bloods, you to me. The word foreskin also, it means pointed. Pointed. And men, boys, before they're circumcised, the end of their penis is pointed, and it cuts it off. And evidently some culture back there that Jethro had, he stopped because the firstborn son was going to be the heir, wasn't it? And for some reason they wanted them uncircumcised. I do not know why. But whatever it was, it almost got Moses killed because he broke the covenant, didn't he? He broke the covenant. All right. 4 and 26. Wayereth Mem Menu Oz Amarah Chatan Damin Li Maloth Li Muloth. And he relaxed. That's what it says. He kept on relaxing. from him then, she had said, bridegroom of bloods, because of the circumcision. Because of the circumcision. 427. We'll stop right here. Aaron and Moses are going to meet. You want to read this verse or stop right here for today? You want to read this one? Well, let's read it. We'll read it and then we'll stop. Wayomer, Hadavar, El Haharon, Lek, Likroth, Moshe, Ham Ma Midbara. Wayalek, Wayifageshu, Bihar, Ha Elohim, Wayish Shak, Lo. And he kept on saying, Jehovah unto Aaron, go to meet, to encounter Moses. The wilderness. And he went out. He kept on going out. And he kept on meeting in the mountain of the Elohim. And he kissed him. And he kept on kissing him. And he kept on kissing him. Nishak. He kept on kissing him. Well, we went from 4:9, 4 in verse 9 to 4:27. That's quite a little trip to the scriptures tonight. I've been trying to teach a little more on the Gospel of John. Sometimes you just can't go very far because there's so much in it. Did you get everything straightened out here with
Yes.
with
thank you very
that?
much.
Okay. Now also we need one other thing we need to say. Your hyper Calvinists believe that basically that some people are born lost and some people are born saved, in short order, and that God hardened Pharaoh's heart. But we're going to find out from the Hebrew Scriptures that Pharaoh hardened his own heart to begin with, and God finished up the polish job. As simple as that. He hardened his own heart to begin with, and then God finished him off. So man does have volition. There's old terms when you're studying, when you're discussing tulip and supralapsarian, infralapsarian, and sublapsarian theology. When you're like a person, irresistible grace. Irresistible grace means what? That you can't resist it. Now I'm going to tell you something. No saved person ever successfully resisted the grace of God, did they? Huh? All right. But there's volition there. God gave all angels and spirits volition, and he gave man volition, and I think he continues to give each man volition. The hyper-Calvinists will say that Adam had volition, a free will in the garden, but none of his descendants after that did. Did you know that? We'll cover this a little bit when we get over here, and we're going to study tulip. Tulip. Total hereditary depravity, unconditional election, limited atonement, irresistible grace, and perseverance of the saints. We're going to study that just a little bit when we start talking about the hardening of Pharaoh's heart. You like that? That'll help you a little bit. We're there, and we may as well look at it. All right. Then, Cindy, thank you so much for coming up here and reading for me tonight. I sure needed the help tonight. My voice was not working. Brother Roger, you want to come up and dismiss us in prayer tonight? Thank you for being here on the day when nobody else came, but you, the cream of the crop, came. Go out and do something eternal, too.
Father, once more, thank you so much for making this opportunity available to us. Thank you for guiding and directing us in this through Jim's stewardship and shepherding. I so appreciate all the effort that he puts into it. Thank you for what you did for us in establishing salvation. Please go with us and guide us and direct us as we continue on through the week. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. You know, when I was going to the seminary, when I was the, basically as a substitute Greek and Hebrew teacher from the first week I ever hit that place. And the students would always, when I'd get up there and start teaching Greek and Hebrew, it says, it's so easy for you. And I say, how many of you have written and translated a whole book in the New Testament? Nobody has. I said, if you do that, you will understand. Brother Roger, am I telling the truth? When you have to do it, when you write it down, you learn it.
Right now,
Indelibly.
the understanding will come. Right now, it's just
Hard work
the
and
effort.
pain.
The effort.
And lots of pain. I tell you what, it's my hands are wore out. When you've been to my library, and Cindy's been there, you've been there, Brother Mike's been there, and you see all those books I wrote by hand. That's a lot of work. And when you do that, you learn. You learn. Unless you're an absolute blithering idiot, you're going to learn something. As simple as that.
That's my hope.
I don't think even, I think of you.